WWE Wrestlemania is fast approaching this weekend, and while I unfortunately will not be able to watch it live, I may as well be able to send you in my predictions for how I think nights 1 and 2 will end up going. Unfortunately, I will not be able to watch the show live, or I might be able to, but it seems like it's going to be a problem given as that's Easter weekend and there's family things, so my reaction videos may not come for a few days after that. But I wanted to give you my predictions now for all the matchups on every night. So we're going to get started on night 1, and we're going to go through the matches in terms of importance. So we're going to start from non-title matches to the tag, to the mid-card, to the main event. So we are going to get started with not Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio in, hopefully, a mask versus mask match. This is an interesting match because you have Rey Mysterio, obviously, legendary luchador, very, very talented, and you have El Grande Americano. He's this new guy on the scene. Hasn't really done a lot yet. He's a member of not any factions or anything. Definitely not a former Shorty G or Chad Gable. He's just a guy. So in kayfabe, you would think Ray has this easily won, but you never know. Okay, I'm not pretending anymore. Chad Gable, basically, versus Rey Mysterio. This is probably going to be a very, very fun match. Chad is more the physical guy here, even though he's still small. But because they're both smaller dudes, you can have a big, like, flippy, fun, goofy match as well, combined with, technique and a lot of on-the-ground work stuff. So we're going to see how that goes. Now, I personally think that Chad Gable is going to end up getting the win here. If we do a mask versus mask, I don't know how that's going to go. If it does turn to that, it's probably going to be Ray winning because I feel like he has like one more year left. Then he'll retire probably against Dom at Mania 42. We'll get to Dom in a little bit. But I do project at this very moment, El Grande Americano to pick up the win over Rey Mysterio. Then we move on to the only other non-title matchup on night 1, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. This is an interesting match because you have Jade Cargill, obviously a very strong force, very powerful, very important, like in the future of the women's division. Then you have Naomi, who is not like strong, but a well-known, a respected character in the women's division, been around for a while. She's a former world champion. And you would think, oh, well, that sounds like this is going to be like a close matchup, right? No, not really. I didn't really have to think when I did this one. I was looking on WWE.com and I was like, okay, blank, blah, blah. I saw Jade, Naomi, said, oh, Jade. I didn't really think about it because there's no reason why Naomi should win this match. And you can make the argument of like, oh, you need more heel victories on the night to make things, work. And I'm pretty sure I looked as I was going through these, and at least when I went through 10 of them, I was 5-5, like heel to face. I didn't go through all of them, but point being, there are still a bunch of heel victories on this show. But I think Jade Cargill winning here, it's kind of necessary for both Jade to finally get her revenge. We're probably going to see some blood in this match. I wouldn't be surprised. And at the same time, we're going to have a classic from Naomi. Now, where Naomi goes from here, there's a lot of options. I can't lie. You could have her continue this feud. You could have her go into a separate feud and vie for a world title, although that's probably not going to happen. Maybe the IC or US titles for the women. Nevertheless, Jade Cargill picks up the victory in the only women's non-title match in the last 20 years, which at WrestleMania, which I thought was kind of interesting. I was going to say, if it was the only one not just at WrestleMania, that'd be kind of crazy. There has not been a single non-women's title match in 20 years, actually. No other match has ever happened. They've all been title matches. Every single one of them, even if you couldn't see a title. But nevertheless, we move on to the War Raiders versus the New Day. A similar situation to Jade and Naomi, and one that kind of runs through about half of this show. You have a younger talent in the War Raiders. They're not particularly young, but relatively here, who are still trying to prove themselves as a staple on the main roster, right? So you have the War Raiders against a veteran team in the New Day. Why would the New Day win this match? I understand you can say oh, they need the momentum because they don't really have all that much momentum right now. They ain't got motion. But you also have to like think more towards the future, because realistically, Kofi and Xavier are probably going to be gone within the next like 3 years, or at least like less. I'm not going to say less talented, but I'm going to say like Father Time will start catching up in the next couple of years. And I don't think he's caught up to Eric and Ivar yet. He's getting there. But I think them winning here, retaining their titles, will make a good amount of sense. And the New Day can go do some other random stuff with Big E, because why not, right? We move on to the mid-card titles now, with LA Knight defending the U.S. title against Jacob Fatu. This is the first title change I see happening on the evening. I do believe Jacob Fatu will be winning the title here. I was watching a video by Wrestle Talk earlier today to prepare for making this video, just so I could get some alternate opinions. And they were talking about like, oh, LA Knight, he's gonna go on. He's gonna go fourth. You know, now that he's lost the U.S. title, which he will, he's gonna become a main eventer. And then, as they were saying that, I was like, no, he's not. And then they went, no, he's not. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because he is absolutely not going anywhere from this. And as I said in my NFL WWE comparison video, which you should watch, by the way, it's a very good video, LA Knight is like someone that I used to adore. Like, I thought he was great. And I still think he's pretty good. But it's like some of his aura has kind of just been sitting around for a while. And in the case of wine, that's good. But in like if you have a jug of milk, right? And it's the best milk you have ever had. Perfect milk. This udder is amazing. You got the milk. You're like, oh, man, I can't wait to drink this milk. Day one, perfect. Day two, perfect. You have it. And maybe for whatever reason, you go on a vacation, right? I mean, you're gone for like a week. You come back, you drink the milk. It's pretty good. Pretty good. And it's still good. It's just like, it's a little older now. Not as fresh, not as premier. And then if you wait like a month, then obviously it's going to start festering. So you're like, oh, I don't like that anymore. And it might still taste okay, but at the same time, it's getting pretty vile at this point. Now, I'm not saying LA Knight is vile or disgusting. I'm just saying that is how his like character has kind of developed, because it hasn't developed. It's just kind of been, I'm the megastar and I'm the main event with everybody saying LA Knight. Yeah. And he hasn't done anything else other than just be around. Like, if you look back to the Royal Rumble 2 years ago, he was the same character as he is now. Now, 2023 Royal Rumble, he was still like mostly heel LA Knight. And then by the time you get to Crown Jewel, he's face LA Knight. So somewhere between those two moments, it's like after Mania and before Crown Jewel, there's a point where he like turns super babyface. Probably SummerSlam 2023. And I think since SummerSlam 2023 until now, he has not changed his character an ounce. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just makes it kind of like, oh, cool, it's LA Knight versus this dude. This probably happened on Raw like once last year, right? Like, I'm almost certain I've seen this match before. And it's just every other match is just the same match. So, nevertheless, I'm yapping a lot about LA. Meanwhile, I should be talking about Jacob Fatu, because he is absolutely winning this match, preferably in a dominating fashion, and taking over the new bloodline. Listen, Solo Sikoa, he's a better character now. I think we can agree that Solo Sikoa as a character is a better character now than when he was like feuding with Cody, or the first time he was feuding with Cody, and then with Roman and all that nonsense. Because that was just, I'm gonna stand here and do this and barely talk, and that's my entire character. What do you think, guys? I'm a main eventer, right? And that didn't work. But now he has like some humor to him. He has some swag. He's joking around a little bit on SmackDown. Like, man, what are you talking about? Having a little fun. I think that's a much better character for him. But he's still not as good as Jacob Fatu. So, sucks to be you, I guess. It's like if you take a cup that is this tall and another cup that is this tall, and you fill both of them to equal heights, they're going to be the same height. But if you fill the smaller cup to its maximum height, it's higher than the previous cup. But if you fill both of them to their max height, now the other one is already there. And this one can't go any higher. It's just going to overflow and doesn't work as a cup. It's going to get all messy and spill everywhere. That's Solo, and that's Jacob. So, say la vie, he's never going to get there. We move on to the main event matchups. First off, with Tiffany Stratton defending her title against Charlotte Flair. this one took some thought because Charlotte Flair is a very interesting individual. Not just in kayfabe, but if you think about Charlotte, like, she seems to win a lot. That's a lot because of Ric Flair and your former connections, and she's talented. I'm not saying she's not, but it's like Tiffany really needs to win this match. And they're definitely going to shoot on each other because of what they were doing in that one promo a couple weeks ago. That was crazy. Aren't you over 3? Like, honestly absurd. But, like, Tiffany really needs to win, and she doesn't. It can't be one of those, like, cheap wins. It can't be Charlotte beats her up for the whole match, and then Tiffany wins in the last 3 minutes. It can't be that. It can't be a distraction win. It has to be Tiffany wins, lol. It has to be on the level of when Rhea beat Charlotte at Mania 39. Because that match was great. And it was really and I'm not saying this match is going to get to that point. I'm just saying the way it leveled up Rhea Ripley has to do the same for Tiffany Stratton. Will it do that? I don't know. But I still think she's going to win either way. We move on to the 2 men's main events. We have, I guess technically one of these isn't a title match, but it's the main event, so it's up at the top anyways. We're going to start with the not main event one, though. Jey Uso versus Gunther. I was also, back when I was talking about that Wrestle Talk video, they mentioned, or Ali mentioned, like, yeah, I think Gunther's going to win because, you need to have a swerve at every Mania. And I get that. But if Jey Uso doesn't win this match, we are going to have to go through the WrestleMania 39 Cody loss again and make at least 20 little children cry their pants off. Because you know how much Jey Uso is loved by the fan base. And I know it's going to put a bunch of heat on Gunther and make Gunther kind of interesting again, even though he has heated up again lately. But like, dude, Triple H, I am begging you, just have Jey Uso win, okay? If you want to run that angle, have him lose it back next week on Raw. And then everybody can go nuts, and then you can do it. But the moment at Mania will get you so many Twitter views. And I know you're a Twitter dude. I know you're on Twitter checking what people are saying. That will get you so many views. If you don't do that, you're done. You're donezo. Yeah, I'm gonna fire you. I'm going to come to Titan Towers or wherever they're based now, and just you're done. I'm gonna tech you out. That's 6 techs. You're done. Get out of here. Nevertheless, I suspect Jey Uso to end up winning this match because he needs to. That's about it. We move on to the main event of WrestleMania Night 1, and where I will finish this video. We will get to Mania Night 2, probably tomorrow or so, wherein we have Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Now, on paper, this is a 33 to 33 to 33% chance. However, in actuality, it is more like 50% for Punk, 40% for Reigns, and like 10% for Rollins. I am an underdog kind of person. And I have Seth Rollins winning this match outright. Think about it. Seth Rollins has not had a legitimate Mania victory in forever. He lost at 40 twice. He beat Logan Paul at 39. Ooh. He lost to Cody at 38. He probably did something stupid at 37, knowing WrestleMania 37. He lost to Kevin Owens at 36. Yeah, he beat Brock at Mania 35. That one doesn't count anymore because Brock is non-existent in WWE lore. I don't remember what he did at 34. But point being, he's lost a bazillion matches at WrestleMania and hasn't had like a statement win in a while, even with his World Heavyweight title reign 2 years ago. So I think him winning with the projection of Seth, with Punk and Roman being like the 2 front runners, and Rollins, he's not going to do anything. What's he doing here? I think that will add so much more fun and like excitement to the story, because this isn't going to be the end of the Punk and Roman and Seth storyline, because no matter which way you cut it, almost every way you can cut it, there's always something more you can do, because you've already done Punk and Seth. Okay. But you can do everything else. You can do Punk and Roman. Absolutely. You can do Roman and Seth. Absolutely. Like, those two lanes are very good. So if Seth wins, the likelihood is that that can spin off, depending on who he pins, which I think is going to be Roman Reigns. That leads right into Seth Roman. And if you want to do something else, you can do Roman Punk and have Seth like prance around like, I beat both of these two losers at Mania. I'm the best in the world. Even though that's Punk's thing, but it'll be funny because he's making fun of him. Nevertheless, I suspect Seth Rollins to beat Reigns and Punk. And yes, that does mean, because why not? Paul Heyman goes to Seth Rollins' side. Even though we've heard like, oh, he wants Punk, oh, he wants Reigns, goes with Rollins, because why the hell not? Or, as I was mentioning earlier, you have this Seth win, Seth leaves this story, and Paul is caught in the middle of Reigns and Punk still. And he's like, oh no. And one of the other things I mentioned in that Wrestle Talk video, I know I keep referring to it, but it was how I like preemptively prepped for this, is they could do the chair spot that Paul did with Big Show and Brock Lesnar. And it goes right in the middle of the both of them. And they're like, oh, who's gonna get, the chair? And they like, but my thought is if you do that spot, Roman and Punk do that like manly, we're gonna fight kind of thing where they're like that crawl towards each other and like butt heads and like Arr! Seth double stomp both on the chair, pins Roman. That's cinema. That is cinema right there. Easy layup. I think it is a perfect storyline that you could do, but that's just my opinion. Nevertheless, do you agree? Do you disagree? Make sure to let me know down in them comments down below. As I said, we will be doing WrestleMania 41 Night 2 predictions eventually, probably tomorrow, as I said. And we will also be doing another Joys of Editing this evening, if I remember to do it. So be on the watch for that. Make sure you have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good go whatever. Make sure to watch any former or future videos on this channel. And today, I leave you with Aaron Gordon of the Nuggets. He has an 83 player rating in Monopoly with an 81 offense, 72 defense, and 84 skills, and averaged a .563 field goal percentage in 68 games during the 22-23 season. That card that I randomly picked did not have any words on it, so I couldn't read it as I normally do. But nevertheless, everybody, have a good all the things I said before, because I'm not saying them again.